So the reason I form relationships with inanimate objects is, to put it simply, I've been hurt a lot by this world, and that's due to being very sensitive, being very innocent. Um, I never have ulterior motives. I'm just kind of straightforward. I I'm a good person. I just try to live life with the least amount of resistance, and unfortunately, this world collides with that quite drastically, and I end up getting hurt by people and by situations, and so for like honestly, it's just easier for me to make friends with an inanimate object, kind of personify it and create this friendship in my head where I'm not going to get hurt and there's not going to be any miscommunication and there's not going to be a misunderstanding because they think I'm acting a certain way because A, B, or C. It's living with autism is very difficult. Even relationships that I cherish, there's always going to be times where I'm misunderstood or I have to explain myself, or I want to connect with somebody but they think I have an ulterior motive when I don't. I just want to connect with a cool person, and it's very complicated, very overwhelming, and again, there's a lot of hurt involved. So yeah, it's a hell of a lot easier to just have that relationship in my head with that vacuum or that piece of pizza. I mean, when I was 9, I was eating a piece of pizza, and I wouldn't eat the crust. I didn't eat crust back then, so I threw the crust away, but I had developed fondness for it in the 30 minutes that I was eating it, and I just had the biggest meltdown. And a lot of people see that as very weird behavior. I mean, and sure, it probably is, and the definition behind weird being that it's not that common, but it's how I operate, and I get tired of people trying to change me. There's a lot of people out there who hear about these kids or these adults with autism having relationships with inanimate objects, and they try to like extinguish it. Like they try to burn it into the individual's brain that, this thing is not alive. You can't be friends with a vacuum. Like, who cares? Just let the person be who they are. Especially if they're an adult. I mean, damn, like I'm a grown man. Again, I don't get why these things are looked upon like I'm an infant. The infantilization of autism is just so rampant because people try to change me. And that is another reason it's easier to just interact with that vacuum. So just some insight, because people take things at face value, so when they see this occurring, they think their kid might be like obsessing about this thing, or he might be kind of crazy thinking he can be friends with an inanimate object like a table. But it's a lot more complex than that, and I wish people would kind of wake up, because there's more than meets the eye. And too often when it comes to autism and idiosyncrasies, people just solely base it on what they see without thinking about what the reason behind it might be. So just to get just saying this to get off my chest, because it's kind of been frustrating me today, and I hope you gain something from it.